And we are back. What's up, everyone? FSP is back this week. Episode, what are we on? Number 50? Are we on 60? Or what? I have no clue. I mean, I'm way off. 75?
75.
Holy shit. Episode 75. Did I say 50 something? Wow. Thanks everybody for being here for Fun Speculation Podcast. We have a lot to talk about today. Thanks to everybody for being patient with us, as we kind of had a lax week last week. We had Fun Pop. We had the return of Fun Pop last week, but that was our only show last week. So there was, like, besides some Starfield talk on Fun Pop, we didn't have any gaming talk on this channel, really. I had a stream where I went live for a little while and kind of gave some Starfield thoughts and stuff by myself, but it's good to be back. It's weird, though, guys, and I don't know if you feel like it, but when I miss like a week kind of streams, it feels like a month. I don't know. It feels like it's been forever. I forget how to do stuff on OBS and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, we are back at Fun Speculation Podcast. We're going to have Forza talk. We're going to have Starfield talk. Lots of stuff to talk about. But let's get into the awesome panel here. What's up, Jasper? How you doing, bro?
Pretty good. Just been making ships in Starfield, and I'm also getting a lot of footage because I'm trying to reshoot a trailer, a famous trailer. Well, I guess not a trailer, more of an intro to a show within the Starfield universe. So I'm trying to get a lot of footage for that. So I haven't really been doing quests the past 2 days. Just been building shit and getting footage.
Right on. Yeah, I was messing with my backdrop, and the stupid. I knew this was gonna happen. I tried to have our splash screen and stuff on, like for the TV in the background, like I used to, but like it like goes away. So I gotta fix that. Okay, hold on. I know.
Yeah, this is the important issue right now.
it's bothering me, man. Okay, hold on. I gotta get it. All right, here we go. And there we go. That's where I wanted it at. There we go. All right, that's better. We'll see how long it lasts.
That in 15 minutes from now.
No, it'll last a couple hours at least. I've had it up there for a long time. Anyway, yeah, dude. Thanks for being here, Jasper, as always. Fuzzy, how are you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. Just came back from a horror show convention. So, wife, and she's more into horror shows or horror movies and things, but figured I'd go along and had some fun. Got to meet some of the actors and actresses and some of her favorite movies and stuff. So
that's cool.
And we even bought a critter. So we got like a little.
You got a critter?
Yeah.
Right on. Like the little porcupine alien monsters?
Mm-hmm.
Nice,
yep.
Dude.
Well, there was a couple of people there doing like handcrafted ones. So, and she was like, "Oh, I want one." So, I'm like, all right, let's get it.
Didn't they make like
now we got that in Baby Yoda.
Didn't they make like 6 critter movies? I think.
Yeah.
I think they're up to 6. Yeah.
I remember watching those when I was a kid, and I haven't seen them since. But those were awesome back then, man. They would like combine and form like a big critter ball or whatever, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, how you doing, Psycho?
I am doing great. I've been playing the hell out of Starfield. Got my brother into playing it. He came and visited last week, and he was he liked it, what he saw. So he's like, because he wasn't really big into Bethesda games, so he just he liked what he saw, so he gave it a try, and he is hooked. I mean, hooked. He's now a ranger, and it's kind of funny because he ran into these red devils, and long story short, like, he's in the military, and he's actually part of the Red Devils, and so it kind of like struck home for him.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's just likes the authenticity of the game, and flying, like the space battles and the missions. He's like, dude, I was on this freaking mission, and it carried on, and something else happened, and this other thing happened, and I'm like, bro, I know. Welcome to the Bethesda game.
Yeah, that's freaking been awesome, man. Like Kate has more playtime than I do now.
Yeah, well, she has an empire as well.
It's insane how much she's loving Starfield, dude. Like, this is her first RPG, really, that she's played and got into. And she's going around like doing all this. She's becoming a pro at the game more than I am. Like, she's insanely obsessed with it, which is awesome. I'm glad she's liking it so much.
And that's the beauty of this game. It's that people that are normally not into these style games get sucked into it and just get lost. And it's just like, how can people have this criticism? Like, people that say, "Oh, it's not great," and it's like, what'd you play? Did you play the 3 hours? Did you burn the bodies? I mean, what the hell?
Well, I think some of it, like, there's definitely like criticisms to be had and critiques, but like that's the same for every game. Like, and I feel like
exactly.
So no game is perfect. Even games that have rated across the board mostly 10s and like has like a 97 meta or whatever. No game is perfect, but for some reason the critiques about Starfield have been like really, really brought out and like kind of talked about more than all the rest of the stuff in the game.
Well, that's
which
like,
is pretty.
When you have a good game, there's always people trying to find like the one thing that's wrong with it. And yes, I do think there is some things wrong with it. Like this is the best Bethesda companions, but for companions overall, like they're still super weak compared to something like Cyberpunk. So it's like they do a lot of stuff good for a Bethesda game, but it's not great. Like we've seen better in so many other RPGs. So it's like
for me, I just put all the pieces together and judge it for what it is. And for me, it's like something that is melting away the hours that I'm finding endless amounts of enjoyment in. And a lot of things are amazingly well done, way better than a lot of the other games. But like instead, what seems like it's mostly talked about is the negatives, right? Yeah. And that's interesting when it's a game that is this good and people are playing and putting this much hours into. It's like, yeah, this is a great game, but I'm just going to sit here and talk for 2 hours about everything that's wrong with it, right? And I've played it for 150 hours or whatever, and here's everything that's wrong with it, and that's all I want to talk about instead of the amazing things and what I've been doing in the 150 hours that I've put into the game. And it's like interesting, and I feel like that also went with the way the reviews went on the game as well. Like there's so much focus and over criticism and over criticalness at some flaws that the game has without taking into account the ambition and quality that they put out with what they did create. And that's just, I think that's a Starfield effect. It's like a hyped game effect. Like it's the most hyped game this year, right? It's an Xbox effect where you have people like the Jim Sterlings of the world that are just gonna shit on it, just because.
I mean, you can even look at something like Red Dead, for example. Red Dead 2, like it was a great game, but people still also shit on it with like the animal thing, where like you cut up animals and it takes 14 fucking seconds to butcher an animal. Right. It's like, why does this take so fucking long?
But they didn't take off 3 points on the meta for it, or the review for that aspect. Is my point. Like you can like critique things like that in like every game. But with Red Dead 2, they didn't spend an hour and a half talking about that, and
they spent an hour and a half talking about the stupid 4-hour snow level.
No, everyone's talking about how amazing it was, like how real the horses looked. Remember how we were all fascinated that the horses had balls, and we're like, "Oh my god, those horse balls are amazing!" It's like we're just like enamored with
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Realistic horse nuts, and it was like, wow, look at the achievement they did. Can't believe this game's running on an Xbox One and a PS4, and that was the conversation, right? And the clunky controls, all that stuff kind of got talked about a little bit, but it was like for a second. Starfield is like, let's sit here and talk an hour and a half about everything wrong with the game, and then say, by the way, it's an awesome game, though. It's an amazing game. I just spent an hour and a half shitting on it, but it's still an awesome game. It's.
I think it comes down to the fact that it's only on a couple of platforms, as opposed to like Red Dead is on all platforms, and a few other games are like that. So it's like they have to find a way to kind of pull back at a game that it's not on their preferred platform. And
Right.
it's funny to me because if you look at it like IGN, and I hate bringing them up, but they put in so much effort for extra content because they know people are going to search for stuff like build guides or tips and things like that. Yet they purposely, I kind of feel they purposely gave it the score that they gave, knowing that if they gave it a great score, people would only probably come to their site for 2 days to look at it. But the fact that they gave it a 7 out of 10, which is, it's not a terrible score, it's still, considered a good game, but that brings enough engagement that will last them a couple of
Yeah.
months. So people will keep coming back to look at the content and
Mhm.
argue about the game score and all that stuff. So it's like it feels almost like it's like bait in a way to get
Yeah.
you to stay on their site longer.
I did have a bait post earlier this week. I said on Twitter, it was like, it's never been clearer how stacked against things Xbox is than with Starfield now, because I worded it specifically like this for a reason. I said they released an amazing masterpiece of a game, yet to only have the media and a lot of content creators and stuff seemingly have a unified agenda to try and bring down the hype, right? Well, the tweet like kind of took off a little bit, but it was mainly, the only reason was because I used the word masterpiece, right? It brought out so many people like, masterpiece? You're calling this game a masterpiece? It's an 8.5 or say 85 on Meta. It can't be a masterpiece. It's not perfect. It's like, well, it said it was perfect, right? People, I think, have an assumption a 10 out of 10 game has to be perfect, right? Which is, I think, a completely strange thought, because there's really no perfect game. Like, games are like art, right? Or they're creations, and we're playing what the creators put out there for us. And when I judge a game, I base it on how much enjoyment am I having in it, and like how good the quality is, right? So you can pick apart different aspects, you want to say sound quality or like gameplay quality, like animation, all these different facets. You can break everything down, but ultimately every game is weaker in some areas and stronger in others, so if you sit there and take the weak parts that aren't as good as something else and just focus on that and talk about that nonstop, then every game is majorly shit at that point, because no game is as good as every other game out there. And it's, in a weird way, it's kind of like Starfield has to be the best of everything. It has to be the best at this. It has to be the best at that. It has to be the best at that.
See, that's where I come from. Is I don't think Starfield does anything the best. I think they do a lot of stuff good, but I don't think anything that they do the best, and that's where it falls short.
I say I would disagree in some of that, because the genre that I've never played a game like Starfield. Like, I don't really have another direct comparison. You know what I mean? Like, there's other RPGs, right? But like, I don't have another game that I can directly compare Starfield to actually have a good comparison on something that's like, okay, well, it falls short in this regard. Instead, I have Bethesda RPGs and other RPGs just for a baseline, right? Kind of, but what they're doing with this is different, than any game I've played, right? So it's kind of like, if I'm immersed in the experience and I'm enjoying it and playing and stuff, and like just having a blast and can't get enough of it, like, isn't that what it's all about? Like, isn't that what they want? You know what I mean? Isn't it like, that should be the goal for the developers? And for me, that's what the biggest achievement is, right? And they nailed it for me with that. This has actually become my favorite game of all time so far. Like, and I mean, that's an honest take. I'm like, I can't remember another game that has me that excited to go explore and find a different content and just like figure out what's out there. And then, okay, well, I'm kind of done with that. I want to go do some side quests, or kind of done with that. I'm going to do the main quest now. Now I'm kind of done with that. I'm going to go try to build an outpost. I'm kind of done with that. And I'm going to go build a ship. Oh, I'm kind of done with that. I'm going to go fly in an orbit and see if I can get into some space shit. Like, you know, and I'm kind of done with that. I'm going to go try and steal some ships. Oh, I'm kind of done with that. I'm going to go go to some shops and see what they got for sale. You know, now I'm done with that. I'm going to go figure out how the crafting works. Oh, I'm done with that. I'm going to go and, you know, like there's endless amounts of stuff that in each one of them I can completely immerse myself in and have a blast, you know? So anyway, that's kind of my take on it, but it's been an interesting couple weeks, and we didn't really have much of a chance to talk about this stuff last week with the lack of shows that we had. But man, it's been so much talk about Starfield, dude. And even in this chat, like that truthserum guy was like, "Oh, the Steam numbers show what kind of the game didn't live up to the hype that it had." Whatever. Like, it's breaking like records for concurrent players in the genre of this kind of game. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 has had more concurrent, but until just earlier this week, pretty much the only place you could play it was Steam. I mean, you could go GOG or something like that, but let's just be real. Like, people that, if you're playing it on PC, they were going to play it on Steam, right? And it's still doing great numbers. It's an amazing game. My game of the year up until Starfield. And it deserves it.
Still my game of the year.
Fair enough. And you weren't even excited about that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's super hyped that you like it. But it's the numbers it's doing is also on top of all the players on Xbox. It broke 1 million concurrent players in pre-release, right? When Baldur's Gate 3 was in pre-release or also had their launch on PC, they never broke 1 million, right? And that was on Steam, right? They had like 800 something thousand, I think.
That's concurrent players. We don't know how many people bought the game.
Right. But I'm talking about concurrent players playing the game. Starfield actually had more the day after its pre-release launch for the $100 versions, and that's paying people that either bought the upgrade path for Game Pass and also or bought it for $100 on Steam. And that also goes for now that we have PC Game Pass and regular Game Pass subscribers. It didn't take but like 2 days. They had like over 6 million players already, which is insane achievements for this game. Like, and they came out with that last weekend, not yesterday, but like it was during the middle of the week. Yeah, it was during the week. Yeah,
I don't know how they probably got a bunch more this weekend for just people jumping in on Game Pass. So it's probably over 10 now.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep growing because the conversation about Starfield is not going to die down anytime soon, right? And with the amount of people that have Game Pass are just going to give it a shot or whatever, or even the people that are just going to try it and play it just so they can shit on it and say they played it, you know, those people are adding to the numbers as well. So, but yeah, it's going to be probably the most played game this year. I saw even what's his name?
I mean, you got Call of Duty.
Well, you know, for not the one of the not NBA 2K or not Call of Duty or whatever. Yeah. What's the guy's name? Freaking A.
What, Jaffe or
no, the
Greg Miller?
Game Industry.biz. Christopher Dring for GameIndustry.biz. He was posting and stuff, and he makes some crazy posts sometimes, but you know, he was even looking at the numbers, right, breaking it down, and he was like, "This is like the most played game. This is probably gonna be the biggest game this year, right?" And
what did Hogwarts got? What, 15 million or something like that? Didn't it within the first month or something like that?
Yeah, I think this is gonna do more than that because he was breaking down the numbers for Hogwarts, I think, and he compared it like in the time span, and this is like over Hogwarts also. It's massive numbers. It's a huge success regardless of the conversation out there for Xbox. They got another one around the corner, guys, with Forza. It's gonna be interesting couple months heading up here. You got any thoughts on the takes that you've seen out there about Starfield and kind of the whole biasness or whatever, or attack, or trying to bring it down a little bit, Fuzz?
I think it's a failed attempt as far as trying to dial back the hype and stuff like that. I know some people are just doing it because it's not on their preferred platform. There are others that have, actual,
Yeah.
legitimate gripes about it, which, some menu stuff can be tweaked and there's a few other things that can be improved. But I would say overall, I think the biggest negative at this point in time is that people are going to have to start figuring out, as popular as that game is right now, other games coming out later on this year, it's going to be more difficult as far as figuring out how to divvy up your spare time or your free time, because there's even people that weren't really looking to play Starfield, like
Yeah.
they're not as much of like a sci-fi fan, let's say, and they were like, "Oh, I'll play this before Forza drops." And now quite a few of those are addicted to the point where it's like,
It's Kate.
"Yeah, I gotta take a day away from this so I don't like completely fall into this game." Like a few others that are mainly into racing games, and they're still playing this at least 8 or 10 hours a day kind of thing. So it's the negative. It's fun to see in the way that people are exposing themselves as far as whether they've played the game or not, especially the ones that haven't played the game, like the whole burning body situation. Like only an Xbox title can do this to supposed gaming fans, to the point where they're doing mental gymnastics to badmouth a game that they probably should play. And if anything, and I've said this before, if I was a PlayStation only cat, I would want this game to do very well. So that way, when Cory Barlog, if the rumors are true of him making a sci-fi game, that would be the bar that they compare it to, and then hopefully improve upon from there. Like you would
I
want to
still have that
celebrate
leaked
this.
footage of that one sci-fi game that's supposed to come out from them on my computer.
Oh, Cory Barlog.
Mm,
It's not, I don't think it's his. I think it's someone else. It looked more like a Mass Effect or Gears kind of thing. But
yeah, but that's the thing. Like if you're on a platform where you only have a platform, you know, a, if you only have a PlayStation, basically, and you don't have access to this game, you should cheer it on. So that way, if you really want a sci-fi game, Sony will take the notice of how well this game is doing and actually bring you one of your own. So
Yeah.
that's just my 2 cents on that.
Right on, man. What about you, Psycho? I mean, you've been enamored with it, like, but
Oh, yeah.
I've kind of been like fighting like with people about this kind of stuff a lot. Ever since the game came out, right? And maybe I'm in the wrong, right? But for me, I just see like so much of this out there, and it's like I don't really get I don't get that way of thinking, I guess, is what I'll say.
Yeah, it's so I've seen a lot of shit takes from a lot of people, and some other interesting takes from people that were bad mouthing it and then actually having fun with it, and it was actually pleasantly surprised how well Starfield it was. And I was like, well, did hell freeze over when this person that was shitting on it for a very long time and then is now actually is interested and is having a good time with it? I see other fucking posts that they
that's
pretty
to your point, Psycho. Like, I've been playing the main campaign a bit more, and I will say the main campaign is so much weaker than any other side quest in the game. So I'm thinking that the reviewers like rushed the main campaign and then didn't do the side quest stuff, which the
Correct.
side quest is so strong, and that's why maybe you
Yes.
see a lot of bad reviews.
Exactly, because if you will see them actually go and play like the factions story mission quest, and especially like I'm doing the UC, and so
Yeah.
I'm infiltrating the Crimson Fleet, and that has me going all over the place.
Both UC quest lines are the fucking best quest in the game.
I love the
I'm
Freestar
loving.
Rangers quest line, man. Like,
and that's the one my brother went with. and he's loving that one because he started off as a vanguard and then decided wanted to be a Freestar ranger because he's an airborne ranger, so he's like he wants to be a ranger. So he's going off on that, and that's the thing that I'm noticing. A lot of these faction, a lot of these side quests have really strong quest lines that branch off into other quests. Like I was helping Sarah, kind of like something happened with her past. I won't say.
Yeah, your companion story mission.
Yeah, so I was helping her with that. And then I'm on a planet surveying things. And then I see this heartbeat symbol off in the distance. And if you actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you see those and you click A, it would actually tell you what it is. So it said Survivor. I'm like, Survivor? Well, let's go see what this Survivor is.
And you found Jeff Prost or whatever his name is?
The one that was badly beaten. Yeah, sitting there with a bruised ankle. So it was interesting because he's like, the whole team got wiped. I'm the only one left. Can you help me? So I could either help him or just let him to die. But I was like, I'll be nice. I'll help you. So I went and helped him, and he gave me some decent loot, some money, and he had a ship, but I couldn't get on the ship because it said it was locked and the key is somewhere else. So I'm like, well, where the hell is this key? So I am now trying to find this key so I can go steal his ship after I just helped him. So I marked the area where his ship was, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm trying to find this darn key. And then that's when I found that abandoned farm that I sent pictures, and it was this massive farm, and it was just riddled with starts with an E, ecliptic. So it was just ran through with all these ecliptic, and they had fucking cyber dogs, they had combat robots. I was like, holy crap. And then
the crazy thing is like, like you found that and had a blast, and like I did the same mission and I didn't notice that, and I didn't go do it, right? Like so like,
and then I did the same mission and my quest line bugged out and I lost an hour of progress.
But like you know what I mean? Like it's so dynamic, like
it is.
One thing about Bethesda games like this is like they find ways to bring you the fun, like bring you like missions, or bring you this, or like reward you for going the extra mile and discovering things at times,
Mm-hmm.
and it can lead it like some of the best stuff, like what Jasper's saying, is the random things. Like if you make the decision, like you could be on your way to do something, like I'm on a mission, I have this task, I need to finish this task, right? But something comes up and it's like, oh shit, like I don't want to do this because like I'm busy, I'm doing this other thing. But if you make that decision to say yes, right, you could have had the most fun quest that never would have popped up another time, or it's kind of random stuff. And there's so much of that in this game.
Yeah, the side quest, like especially the two Vanguard ones, it almost feels like they have so much like tension with it. It's like it almost seems like I have to finish this. Like, is the game going to fucking end if I don't do this mission? So like I just only do those missions like straight through. Whereas like the campaign, like I can just jump off of it.
The campaign is kind of something I'm doing like in between things. It's like, okay, I'll just go do that. Like I'm done with doing these long, awesome side quests right now. I'm just gonna go do a quick like retreat.
The only one that I've like turned down is the colony ship that where they had a claim to the planet. I talked to him. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna take care of that. You couldn't fucking figure that out.
I did it. And it was kind of worth it for what I did. The outcome that
I'll get back to it eventually. It's just.
I'm sure there's still like, but there's people on that ship too, Jasper. Like if you go walk around the ship, I went around the whole ship. There's like lots of little side quests that spawn from conversations. There's like at least two, because I got 2 side quests from conversations, and it's just you could never even decide to go on that damn ship, like it's just, but it happens, right? But yeah, it's interesting. And Jasper, like you said, mentioned earlier with your ship stuff, right? You've been like killing it with the shipbuilding. Like it's all the like recreations and stuff, and it makes me want to do the shipbuilding more, right? But I'm like, I know that I will not make this right or as good, so I got to follow one of your guides. But there's so much
That's the
awesome
thing,
stuff there, man.
I can already tell, like, the first few that I put out, like, I was an idiot. Like, I've learned so much just, like, constantly being in it now that, like, I could go back and remake those, like, 10 times better.
Right. You do 2.0 versions, right?
Yeah.
And then do an update and, like, link your videos to the updated versions. But the I've seen so many, like, fun creations, too, on, like, Twitter that keep getting shared. There's one account, I think it's, like, Rebs Gaming. I don't really know who that is, but he keeps sharing... He keeps sharing like different people's ship builds and stuff. And there's like
share someone's though.
I shared yours out. I was like, yeah, you guys need to check this out because these are really freaking good.
Well, those are modders. That's why I think he's.
Yeah, he's sharing people modded versions.
Yeah,
so it's like
there's like Magic School Bus. Somebody did. There's like a rubber.
F1.
There's like a duck.
Yeah, F1.
The F1 car. Yeah, Fuzzy probably wants to make that one.
Nah. The Futurama spaceship.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them out there, man.
It's awesome. You can see the creativity, right?
Yeah, the Star Destroyer from Star Wars. There was just from the Clone Wars, the attack clone trooper ship where they do the drop offs.
Yeah, still made that.
Yeah.
Was that Steel that made that?
Yeah, he had it as his thumbnail on Living Split Screen last week or this week.
I saw him. I thought he made an
X-Wing.
Yeah, he made an X-Wing also. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to the chat. Appreciate all you being here. God Emperor Sofa King rejoined the membership earlier before we went live. Appreciate you, God Emperor Sofa King, for being a speculator. Also, Tom Nami hit us with a $2 super chat earlier and says New York sports are cursed.
I saw you going off on Twitter about that.
Last night was fun, baby. That Cowboys Giants game on Sunday Night Football. Oh, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, right? And I've had definitely 2 decades plus of misery being a Cowboys fan.
I assume they were like down
in the playoffs.
most of the game.
Who, the Cowboys?
Yeah.
No. This was a shellacking. The Cowboys defense just utterly annihilated the Giants. Made them look like the little Giants. Like they're 40-0. Just complete dominance. They had like 7 sacks, got like 3 or 4 turnovers, blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. Their receivers were like so frazzled. They just started dropping passes left and right. And when they did finally catch one, they would fumble. It was hilarious. This was the most fun watching a game I think I've had in years. In fact, I made a tweet saying, sorry, Starfield is no longer my game of the year. My game of the year is now Cowboys at Giants, September 10th, 2023. That was my game of the year, bro. Because I know for like people watching football games, like as a cat that's not a Cowboys fan, like they would hate seeing a blowout like that because it's not a good game, right? But for a Cowboys fan, like watching that is like you could not hope for anything more than to see them just completely shit all over the Giants. Especially if it's the Giants, it's the Eagles or the Redskins, or sorry, the Commanders now or whatever. You just want to see that just utter dominance and make the other team look like the idiots that they are, and they did. Like the Giants just sucked ass, and that was just as great as how good the Cowboys were.
That was kind of like yesterday with the Browns just fucking trampled all over the Bengals, 24-3.
Yeah, dude.
The Super Bowl favorites, the Browns, just fucking rammed it.
Oh, Super Bowl favorites, the Browns.
Yeah,
What?
No. The Bengals were the Super Bowl
Okay.
favorites.
I thought you were calling the Browns the Super
No,
Bowl
no, no,
favorites.
no.
Like, you know, like I mean, they went up in the power rankings after week 1. That's for damn sure.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck yeah, they did.
that
Dude,
defense
Myles
was impressive.
Garrett.
The Browns, whenever they get a win, they're happy, So it's like,
Well, I mean,
Myles-
they shellacked the Bengals. Bengals have a really good offense, and they dominated that game
Yes.
24-3.
Yeah,
So-
they did not do shit. They held them to 118 yards passing, which is crazy. I mean, Joe Burrow, they figured is like the next up and coming fucking Joe Montana bullshit. But the two teams to look out for in the AFC is the Chiefs and the frickin' Bengals, and the Browns are like, yeah, fuck you. Don't forget us, motherfuckers. And they showed their dominance.
Yeah.
and you
Dude,
can simulate all this
Myles
in Madden, so
Garrett,
it ties
all right.
back around to a gaming podcast.
I know this is not video game talk, but Myles Garrett was doing a cross dribble at the fucking line, at the line of scrimmage, and was just doing a fucking the dribble crossover before he ran through the center and got Burrow. That was fucking amazing.
Did he
dude.
attack
That
him
was-
with his helmet and get suspended
No.
again? Or
No.
Okay,
No,
he
but it
didn't
was
do
just
that
funny.
again.
It was funny to have. He was just doing a crossover, just sitting there waiting and for the play to go, and then he just ran right through the center and got. I was like, oh my god, he's yeah, amazing.
Alvin hit us with a $5. Says the Cowboys put on a hell of a show, no doubt. Them boys legit, but y'all not shutting us out in Philly. Remember the 5th of November. Yeah, we'll see what happens later this year, man. But it'll be fun to watch, that's for sure. The Eagles ended up pulling out a good win yesterday too. Although they almost gave it up. Anyway, we'll move on past the football talk. Maybe fun speculation sports. 5th podcast, everybody. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, we'll we'll move on to Forza, which is people that have previewed it say it does feel kind of sportsy. That's kind of a take I've seen from some about like the mechanics of it and the way that they're building the game out with the career mode and stuff really kind of gives that like competitiveness to it, which is awesome to hear because sometimes racing games can get a little bit too casual feeling and too much of a little bit of like, okay, I'm winning every time, or like, just like going through the motions, but getting that motorsport feel to it is going to be a big deal, I think. And I think it's probably one of the biggest takeaways I've had from a lot of these previews that hit today. Besides the fact that people are saying the game looks gorgeous, I've even seen some say it could end up being the best looking racing game of all time, which is not a stretch. I mean, it should be, because really the only other one that would be close would be GT7, being this generation's other premier racing title, right? And it's gonna dominate that with the
I don't know.
graphics.
Crew 2.
Got one coming out this week.
Crew
Crew
Motorfest.
2. Crew.
This is Crew 3, I think, actually. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Forza Horizon at home? We have Forza Horizon at home.
Yeah, it's Forza Motorfest, pretty much. It's
That was some Forza news that came out earlier this week. Forza Horizon 5, they're adding like Creation 2.0 or whatever it is to it.
So, one thing I want to talk about with Forza Motorsport. So there was some talk about the resolutions and with ray tracing and stuff. So as far as what we know right now, there's going to be a 4K 30, like with ray tracing mode, like native 4K, high fidelity, like all the bells and whistles, 30 frames mode. There's going to be a 4K 60 mode also without ray tracing, and then there's going to be a dynamic resolution performance mode at 60 frames with ray tracing, which I think is probably what most people are going to be at, depending on what that resolution's at. If it's like 1440p or higher on Series X, that's going to be really damn good playing that locked at 60 with ray tracing. And I'm wondering if that's going to be upscaled to 4K or whatnot as well, because they didn't really talk about that too much. So they did say that there'll be more clarification on that. There's been some conversation because originally when Phil Spencer had announced Forza Motorsport, like in 2020, I think, at that E3 when they announced like the 5 games, he said 4K native, 60 frames with ray tracing, right? And then they kind of walked that back a little bit, but I think most people are happy with these modes that were announced today. Like, it's the only game doing 60 frames with ray tracing and dynamic resolution to make that happen. I think is going to be a fine by me for most people, right?
Yeah, still saying that it's dynamic 4K with 60 with ray tracing.
Okay, dynamic 4K 60 with ray tracing, native 4K 60 with no ray tracing. Right on. Yeah, that's the performance mode, the dynamic one.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
Dynamic.
And I kind of figured that from get-go when they said it. Like, to have
Yeah.
4K 60 with ray tracing, even though the Series X is a decently powered console, I always figured it was going to be a dynamic setup. So it's like no real surprise on that. And they were doing 4K 60 on all their previous ones, so, or at least from the Xbox One X on Motorsport 7. So
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a problem either.
Yeah, I think this whole thing like is actually a big win for them to be able to pull this off, especially with how gorgeous it looks. I mean, I was watching some of the gameplay today, and it's like insane, dude. Like the way the lights bouncing off of the cars and stuff around the track. They showed Maple Valley Raceway, which is my favorite track in Forza. Knowing that we're gonna have that with like day and night cycle and stuff too. Oh my god, dude. I can't freaking wait for Forza to launch. And coming off the heels of Starfield, this game's gonna come out, and it's gonna. I think this one's probably gonna be in the 90s, most likely. But we'll see. As far as meta goes, like, you never know with ways people are. But this game's gonna be nuts, and
it doesn't have the bounce physics like GT7.
You can't bounce off of walls.
Yeah,
those. I gotta say, like, that's one of my favorite things about Gran Turismo. It's just like, it's just something you played back in the PS2 era, you know, and PlayStation 1 it originally came out, like, and like you got used to it, and it just has that certain feel, right? So like, it's like it would be weird not to have it. Like, Forza's racing is way more realistic feeling, and like it actually has, you feel like the cars actually grip, you know, which is different.
More.
Yeah, I think
Forza's better all around. 100%.
I think Forza Motorsports this year, like, it could do 90s. I think what's gonna be questionable with it is that RPG mechanics for the cars. If that is actually a game changer and people fall in love with it, then it will. But if people don't like it, then it's probably going to be like lower 80s.
Yeah. We'll see.
I don't
that
think
could be
people are
interesting.
gonna like it. The one thing that I was kind of worried about, and it looks like, I guess this is going to be the case, and hopefully we can voice our opinions enough to the point maybe they change it by the time of launch. But the progression aspect isn't bad.
Too much. It's
Well,
coming up too soon.
Or just unlock everything from the get-go.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it should be available. It's just that make the points expensive for something like an engine swap, where you may have to go up a couple of levels. Don't, gate it behind like level 46 or something like that. Don't gate, suspension components, which that might be more crucial than brake upgrades. Don't level gate that to 35 when you should probably have that at 5 for like a, front sway bar upgrade or something. So those, I mean, they kind of had the same issue with GT7, because they had like stage 1, stage 2, all the way up to stage 5 as far as like the different parts. But that was across all the cars. So once you're driver level, or once you've, leveled far enough through the menus, you basically unlocked everything. I think it was by like level 12 or 15. So you had access to it, but that was across all cars. With this, you're going to have to get each car up to, if you want to do an engine swap for a car, you're going to have to get each one of them to level 46 that you want to do an engine swap on. if you want to do any real suspension changes, you're going to have to get it up to level 35 on each car, and it's like that. That's a bit of a problem. Like,
Right. I do you think it might be dependent also on like, oh, he's froze. Oh no.
Yeah, I think
We don't want to
froze
lose
like that.
Fuzzy during the Forza conversation. No, he's back.
He's
All right.
Jim
Oh, yeah.
Ryan's got the snipers ready.
Yeah. I think some of it could depend on how
Polygamy.
long it actually takes you to get there too with the levels. Like how many races is it to level up all the way? Because I think they said like
3 to 5.
3
I think.
to 5 hours of gameplay time. I don't know if that like translates to how many races, right? So it'll be interesting to see that as well. But besides the leveling system, which I think is going to be divisive, right? I agree with that 100%. For me right now, I'm kind of like a wait and see. I've wanted more of a grindy aspect in Forza. It's too early for me to tell if this is the answer to that, right? Like, because it's a very different system. It's like, it's very unique. I never would have thought of them doing it that way, you know? But I do appreciate that it is going to have more of like a feel like you're have a reason to
Reward.
progress that car and stuff like that, you know?
I think it also depends on like I don't know how like this campaign or story works for it, but like if you have to do like a wet track and like they don't have like you don't have like grippy tires, you have like smooth tires or some shit, and like you can't get those grippy tires until like level 40, like that's gonna piss a lot of people off if it forces you to use smooth tires on a wet track. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Part of me thinks of it, it's like taking elements from like shooters, like Call of Duty, like how you rank up your guns, right?
Mhm.
It's like kind of the same there. Like you want to use this gun, you know, you're starting it off with bare bones, right? But like you're gonna unlock stuff the more you use it, and the more you use it, the more badass it can get, right? Also, like kind of old school fighting games, right? Like you start off with the character, you play that character over and over again. The more hours you put into that character and the more times you beat the game and stuff with that character, you get more skins, you know, like you get different artwork or whatever for the character, endings and all that kind of stuff. Like I like that in games, right? I do like that in games. The difference here is like it is a competitive thing with racing. So are you gonna feel hamstrung by that mechanic not being able to do what you want to be able to get over the hump? And that's going to be interesting to see how it translates there, you know? So it's going to be wait and see for me on it. But like, I do like some of the aspect of what they're trying to do. I just want to see how it plays out. But the number one thing for me from this takeaway, and I got to give massive praise to Lord Cognito and the Iron Lords podcast and lordsofgaming.net, because he did a interview as part of the preview coverage with Chris, what's the last name? Tasaki. And it was like he was reading my freaking mind, asking the questions, right? And there was one question in particular that he asked that I hadn't seen before other people ask. And this is something that we had talked about a long time ago. Even really, if you go back and look at what we thought might happen this generation because of Game Pass, and then also double down on it when they announced the game and called it Forza Motorsport, that we thought that this game, Forza Motorsport, might be more of a like platform, like as a service that's going to live within Game Pass, live in the Xbox ecosystem. It's going to be supported for years and years to come. With
some would say a
10-year
game.
Could be, right?
Don't jinx it with those words.
As opposed to releasing, okay, there's Forza Motorsport 8, then 2 years later, Forza Motorsport 9, and doing the same thing they had been doing, which also could add to the fact of maybe why they're doing the level progression the way they are. If you're adding more and more cars and content later, and that's kind of a design with the way they're approaching the game. And yeah, it turns out, because Cog asked this question, he said, all right, he said, I'm trying to remember exactly how he worded it, but he was like, let's speak to the namesake, Forza Motorsport. There's no 8, right? And he was like, what's the thinking behind that? Is this more of a service game? Like, is this going to be more of like that? And then I wasn't actually expecting them to be this transparent and answer this like that clearly. He said, yeah, that's one of the things. You got it. that there's no planned sequels for Forza Motorsport right now. They are planning on this being a game that's going to live in Game Pass in the Xbox ecosystem that they're going to support for years to come, and kind of be that generational Forza game. And for me, that's honestly music to my ears, because like they can keep updating the game, giving us more tracks, giving us more cars. You know, if they come out with do updates, you can even update the graphics, so you could do whatever you want, right? And for me, that's kind of how I would think it would be best, especially
It
this
could
kind of game.
also be the fact that it's super early and like maybe they're not planning on making the next Forza, like that wouldn't be in the talks until like the next gen consoles come out, and then they'll have that for next gen. So like that wouldn't even be in the works right now. And then by the time next gen runs out, then they could put that out for like a launch game.
Yeah, well, he specifically mentioned about the service aspect here, and
Yeah.
like he
Because they used to come out like every other year.
yeah,
and,
it was
like, so they would know that they have a sequel in the works. Whereas now, like if it's gonna just be until the next gen, they wouldn't know if they have a sequel in the works, so they couldn't say.
right,
You
and
know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, for sure. Like there won't be another Forza Motorsport till next gen.
Yeah.
Like whenever that happens, there won't be another one till then. Probably we're gonna get updates on this game, and all that kind of stuff, and they have no clue when that's gonna be, right? Like, and who knows? Maybe they'll just keep updating it then too. Like they may just keep out updates, expansions, or whatever. Like it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. There's a key aspect to this as well, is I think for this to work. And this is something I was talking to Cog about in his chat when I was watching their interview earlier today, is they must have changed the licensing on how they do the licensing for cars. Because beforehand, Forza Motorsport would last for 3 years roughly, and they would lose the licensing, right? And then they would have to remove it from the store and delist it from Game Pass and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
also, again, because they knew they were going to be coming out with a new game anyway, so they have to redo licenses. So it's like, why are we going to have a 5 or 6 year license deal when we're just have to redo another license for a new game? So,
Yeah.
like,
So, but how are they doing licenses for these cars now when, you know, they don't know when this is going to end, right?
I would
So,
assume they just extended the contract for a little bit longer instead of having like a 3-year contract, like sign it for 5 or 6. And then if that point is getting to expire, then they could renew it in negotiations again.
yeah. So it'll be interesting that they maybe have language in there to allow for renewal fees, right? Because we've been thinking about that. That would be kind of like interesting, and with Game Pass and with what we were thinking they were going to do with Forza, that was going to be the number one question we would have, is like how, you know, because you don't want to have this like game and have these cars that you like are in the game and then they just get removed from being able to be bought. That would kind of suck. You know what I mean? So,
That also wouldn't be too different from like a Fortnite skin. Like, if you
Yeah,
have like
but
limited time cars and stuff, I mean, that would suck, but like,
it would suck
That's-
way more than a skin in Fortnite.
Yeah.
But like I get what you're saying though, for sure. Like if you buy the car, you always keep it. But then, maybe that'll be kind of how it works too, right? Like temporary deals for storefronts and stuff. And but like, what are y'all thoughts on this live service element for Forza Motorsport now that that's what we know it is? You know.
I kind of felt that was going to be the case as well. Like you said, when they went without a numbered thing, it wasn't just like a reboot. It was more so kind of like, all right, why give it a number and all at all, or instead call it like Forza Motorsport Rebooted or something. Just call it Forza Motorsport. Continue to add cars like they did with Motorsport 7. Continue to add tracks, kind of like what they did with Motorsport 7, and then have it where instead of worrying about the next one in 2 years, because development time obviously seems to take longer than what they were between them and Playground were able to turn out before. Just keep on building on what you already have. Like if you got the major groundwork done with the improvement to like the tire model and things like that, it only makes sense for them to kind of just move on and add stuff as they go, as opposed to make a whole new model and things like that. I
Mhm.
think it stands a better chance for longevity. And you know, even if people like set it down for, you know, a few months after like a year or two of playing, you know, a new car or a new track might bring them back, kind of like, you
do
know,
you know
live
if they
service games like
scanned,
Destiny and stuff.
like, do you know if they scanned like photogrammetry for the cars? Or
They
did they just
well,
like make them in like a 3D program?
I think they scan
Most of the
them.
new cars, most of the new cars are scanned. There were some that were kind of hand done, and that's where there's some controversy about like reused models and things. But a majority of cars, if it's, I want to say anything that's probably either 2016 and newer or at least 2017 and newer, those are full scans. Now,
Because that's
from
what,
my
like, you don't have to make a new game if you have that scan. Like, eventually you could just take, because they'll have like 8K fucking footage of that car, so they could just redo the model if the model system gets better for that. Like,
yeah,
and it wouldn't take that long. So, like, you could always constantly update it with new visuals because you would still have that raw file.
That's how they're able to have 500 some cars in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like if they did like the full on, you know, and also, I mean, it used to work in Forza and other games also where like some games you could have the full model and do the walk around thing. You remember in Forza you could like walk around the car and stuff with like some of them, but like you couldn't with others. You know what I mean? Because they had only spent that amount of time with certain cars, right? So I think this is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag with the cars probably, but I don't think there's going to be that big of a differentiator where you can tell like that. Like these cars are like brought in, these other cars we've brought all the bells and whistles. You know, I think it's going to be the same for us.
I think some of the older ones you may be able to notice, like some of the classics, like some of your old Nissans and old Mitsubishis. Those you'll probably notice some disparity compared to like anything newer. Like I said, anything that's like 2017 and newer that would have been in Motorsport 7 as a new to Motorsport car, or in at least Horizon 4 that was new to Horizon at that time. Those you can pretty much believe those are going to be the most recent scans, and I would say out of that 500, that's going to probably account for over 200 to 300 of the cars that's in the list. So,
and there's what, like 25 tracks at launch, something like that, right?
20 tracks at launch.
20.
Well, 20 track locations. I'm under the impression a lot of them will have like their multiple layouts. So like Homestead is
the
there.
rings usually have like interior like track, right? Like if you have just like a speedway, right? That's like NASCAR type speedway, they'll have the like infield track or whatever as well, right?
I also assume you can
some
mirror
of them
it too, like go backwards on it.
Well, that was I thought that, but they only usually do that on like their handcrafted tracks. They don't do the mirrored on the real tracks, which I thought was kind of weird. Most other games would do the mirrored
You used to be
like
able
the real
to just
tracks.
set it as a setting, like just turn it on
like
or off.
reverse,
you know what I mean?
Or whatever.
But there's going to be a good number of tracks that have kind of like a full GP course, and then there'll be like a short course or like a east course and west course for like some of the tracks and things. So I would, out of that 20, it's probably going to be somewhere around 40 to 50 layouts, and then hopefully they'll have a good cadence of updated tracks that they add either every other month or however many months in between while they're adding cars and things like that.
Right. Any other features announced today for Motorsport besides just the preview content and interviews that we saw?
Also, is 20 tracks enough for you, Fuzzy?
For my personal taste, no. Only because 5 of these tracks are not real tracks, and call me crazy or whatever, but I'm not a big fan of the fictional tracks. I want the real deal. I'm kind of disappointed they went with Homestead instead of Daytona. Daytona would be a much better showcase for like the time of day progression stuff, considering like the Rolex races at that track. Homestead was one of those tracks that was reconfigured for NASCAR, and even then, although they're bringing it back for Cup this year, it's fallen off the circuit for a few years. So it's not. I've never really cared for it, even in NASCAR, except for when it was flat. When they added the banks, it made it faster, but not any more interesting. But there are some good tracks. Like they at least got Watkins Glen at launch. They got Silverstone in there.
That they've had at launch, or
no? This is actually probably the least.
Oh,
they had actually. Let me double check, because I think
Because I was like, I'm trying to think, like, does 20 maps for me, like, it doesn't seem like a lot. Like, if you're racing, like, you do like a 10-minute race on all of them, it's like, it's not gonna take too long and you experience it.
I stand corrected. Actually, Forza Motorsport 5 had 17 at launch, 3 fictional. And then Motorsport 6 had 28 with 4 fictional. 7 had 32 tracks with 6 fictional. And then we're getting 20 tracks. I believe it's actually 5. I wrote 4 here, but I think it's actually 5.
I think part of this like way they're doing this game too is they're gonna. I'm curious how often we're gonna get tracks. If they're gonna do like seasons, they haven't really talked about this aspect much, right? But I am anticipating they're probably gonna be doing some kind of like seasonal stuff, and things like that with some kind of like car pass thing and all that kind of stuff, right? Because they've had car passes before, but like, Forza Horizon has like their seasons on it and stuff as well. So I'm wondering if they're gonna try and do a thing where they like release a track or two per.
Yeah, I would
cycle.
assume they have some type of like battle pass or something, maybe like where for a challenge where you like win on this track with each class of car or whatever in a week or whatever.
Yeah,
something like that.
As long as they don't try to charge for the tracks, like I think the tracks definitely need to stay free for anybody that buys even the base game. The cars I can kind of see, although I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the car pack things, but that's what they've done all this time. The drawback
you're gonna get
is
some cars for free. You're gonna have to pay for some of them. That's the way it's
Right.
That's the way it's gonna be.
yeah.
But I agree. Tracks, free tracks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free tracks definitely. I'll be interested to see how in depth that you can fine tune your vehicles, especially like if you can adjust your fuel metering, because sometimes adjusting if you want to go a little lean gets you a little bit better output, but also you can damage your engine. But it'd just be very interesting to see how in depth they get with your suspension because of the new physics with the tire, with the air pressure, having too much, too less, will affect the way the car drives, handles, fuels, especially if you're doing long, like if they have.
What
like
if you got an
massive-
electric car? You don't have to worry about fuel.
Then you run out of electricity.
Do a battery swap.
Battery swap. But it
What
just be
do they
interesting how
do in the pit with the electric car?
You just bring out a new car. I don't know.
Do they swap the batteries now?
No.
Like, I mean, like,
No, usually for the full electric ones, they don't really do anything other than change tires. For some of the hybrids, they still have to put gas or some sort of fuel in them. So, for example, like some of the McLarens, when you see those in races and they have the hybrid setup drive, the electric is kind of regenerated through the braking, but they still have to have fuel for the engine. But for like I forget what they call them. It's almost like Formula E or something like that. Those cars, they only change tires and at most maybe brakes or wing parts if they make contact or something like that.
so we won't
So
see
it's
any of
usually
those
just tires.
racing Le Mans anytime soon.
If it's racing Le Mans, it's like 2 or 3 laps.
Right. Like that's a 24-hour race. Like I couldn't imagine doing the electric cars, how they would pull that off.
No.
Stop at a Elon Musk station every lap.
30-minute charge, you get half battery, so you just spits off for
Just
30 minutes.
see these drivers just sitting in line waiting to charge their damn cars.
It'd be like 8 hours of racing and 12 hours.
This is your
or
intermission.
18 hours.
We'll be back in 30 minutes, folks.
Oh shit! Anyway, like it'd be crazy to see like some of those wrecks and explosions with the electric cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait for it, man. I'm thinking this is going to be another big game. I think it's going to have more people playing it than any Forza Motorsport before. Forza Horizon already crushed the numbers for racing games, and all like for the Game Pass effect takes a hold there. They get like 25 million players in like less than 6 months on Forza Horizon. I think they announced recently like hit 32 mil players had played. That's a lot of people playing a Forza game of any kind, right? But just that name, I think, has kind of cemented itself a lot this last generation, and this generation now with being the premier racer. Like Forza Horizon has been the premier racer this generation. Like nothing has come close to the amount of players and the amount of excitement and people talking about how amazing it is or anything like that than Forza Horizon 5, right? And I think that has a cumulative effect for this other game, Forza Motorsport, now that people are going to be like, okay, even the people that didn't really go for sim racers are going to be, a lot of those will be like, okay, well, I'm going to give it a shot because Forza is awesome and I played Forza Horizon, so now I'm going to try Motorsport, right? A lot of talk about it right now. So, and then with Game Pass too, you don't have to buy it, you just play it. And then also, it's launching across the board on. Is this the first one to launch day and date on Steam?
Horizon did. Horizon 5.
Besides Horizon,
yeah.
I mean, first Motorsport.
For first Motorsport, yeah.
Because Xbox wasn't doing Steam releases when 7 came out yet.
Right.
But it did PC day and date before, right? I'm sure 7 did probably.
Yeah, 6. I think 6 was the first. No,
one?
because 6 had Apex. 7 was the first one that was PC day and date.
Okay.
Prior to that, they did like Apex, which was Motorsport 6, but it was like a year later or almost 2 years later.
I love Motorsport, but 7 was like my least favorite probably out of all of them. And so I've been eagerly awaiting this one ever since then. And this is by far the longest wait we've ever had for Forza Motorsport. Ever since the original Xbox, when Forza Motorsport came out, we've been getting biannual releases for Forza Motorsport titles that carried through the rest of the Xbox generation. It carried through the 360 generation. It carried through the Xbox One generation until the end now. So that's like 3 generations of biannual releases of Forza Motorsport. And now it's been since, 2017, 2018? Something like that for Forza Motorsport now. That's like a 5-year wait for Forza, maybe 6. It's crazy. And I think a lot of people are chomping at the bit to finally get back into it because it's been people's racing game of choice for sim racing for 15 years now or so. So it's going to be great to see it hit.
It will be interesting to see how it does on PC because I feel like a lot of PC racers, they do like iRacing and stuff more like in Forza. So like I don't know if the PC is going to capture as many as like it would.
I wonder how many PC Game Pass subscribers there are. I wish we knew that. I mean, Starfield probably brought in a lot.
That's why I'm just saying that because I don't expect to see on Steam like 100,000 people playing Forza. Like it's probably gonna be like 15 on Steam.
On Steam, yeah, I think it'll be below 100 on Steam. Right?
Well, they said, didn't they say 85% of Game Pass subscribers are on paying the ultimate price?
Yeah, but doesn't mean any of them doesn't. Yeah, but doesn't mean they have PCs. Yeah. PCs. So like, I wonder how many people like are using PC Game Pass, right? I am for Starfield. I will play games on there occasionally, but I play most of the games on console, right? So I'll play Forza mostly on console, but I'm gonna play it on my PC too, for damn sure, because I want to see what it looks like.
My gut's telling me you're probably gonna solely play it on PC after you see it. I mean, it'll look great on console, just like the way Starfield looks great on console. But I think this on PC will be a sight to see.
Do you think because of the ultra wide will be a bigger impact, or do you think it's just the
It looks good.
Ultra
Bells and
wide,
whistles.
and you can probably do the 4K 60 with ray tracing without having to worry about the performance ray tracing dynamic resolution type
I
of thing.
bet Mav could probably do it. Like if his native monitor resolution, he could probably do 120. And because Forza games favor AMD cards, and you have like the best AMD card out there, pretty much. So
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun. I think Forza is like, I mean, it's a racing game, so, but I think this one's gonna push things more than past Forzas did, as far as like pushing graphics and cards and stuff like that. So beforehand, it's like, oh, that's the easy game for them to do 4K 60. In the Xbox One generation or whatever, it was like that was the foregone conclusion game. It's gonna be 60 frames, it's gonna be this, that, or whatever. Especially on 1X, right? But like now it's like, you know, they put this much extra effort into all of this fidelity and tech that they've been working on over the last several years. So it's impressive what they're able to do, I think, on Series X. And I am going to be interested to see like how much can I tell the difference. And it's going to be also interesting because I've been doing some I've been telling people I've been really busy the last few days, and part of it's been work stuff and all these different things, but been getting a lot of stuff done. And I've been doing some things here, and guys can see that there's some changes in the backdrop here, but it's more than just that. I have some other stuff going on that's going to be for streaming on Xbox. Because ever since I got the PC, I've had the setup with the monitors and stuff change and everything, and it's kind of like complicated for me to have been streaming Xbox games, and mainly for my own enjoyment. The ultra wide monitor compared with the capture card stuff just doesn't work for a Series X. So I got another TV. So I have 2 TVs in this room now, plus I have 3 monitors. It's fucking crazy in here right now, guys.
is that why you were looking for a 43-inch cheap TV or something?
Yeah, I got a 43-inch. I got it over here. I'll do like a reveal later, but I got a little bit of a setup. I got another mic. I got another camera.
Are you using your old PC for that?
No, through
Oh,
this
okay.
PC, I'm gonna be able to like, and I'll do a stream and I'll reveal it, but I'm gonna be able to hit a button, and I can just move my chair over here, and I'm on the Xbox playing on the TV on stream, right? And I'll be able to move back over here, hit a button, switch back to the PC. It's been complicated as fuck setting this up. It's a mixture of Stream Deck, you know, lots of cables and splitter things and hubs and all this nonsense stuff. But like, I got it figured out. So I'm trying to work on stuff to get the streams back up and going good and stuff. But yeah, you'll be seeing probably a mixture Series X gameplay, PC gameplay. Looking forward to doing that.
Now all you gotta do is take your old PC and put it in your theater room. That way you can stream from your theater room and sit back and relax and have the big projector. And
Dude, you know, a long time ago, I thought about like setting up a streaming setup in there just for like kind of like have a camera aiming at the screen, right? Like with like a backdrop, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, like talk about it like while you're like chilling.
okay.
Yeah, and that would work, man.
Yeah, I just gave you like 8 hours more work
Yeah,
to do.
I've been trying to. Yeah. Did you hear that, Kate? I've been trying to figure out what to do with this other PC, right? And I didn't want to set up a double PC streaming setup here just because of the like heat in this room. It's fucking hot as hell already.
Yeah.
And also like the power, like just so much fucking power usage in this room. So Tom for Toonami hit the $2 super chat says Madden curse in full effect. LMAO. Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers I think got hurt today. Is that right?
Yeah, rolled his ankle.
Oh man, poor Aaron. I feel no sympathy for Aaron Rodgers.
Jets spent all that money. I'm sorry, Jets fans.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I wanted to roll this over into a little bit of a Game Pass conversation because Forza Motorsport's hitting Game Pass soon. It's hitting in October. It's October 5th. Is that right? Or 9th? Something like that.
Or is it the
Early
11th? You
access
get
is
it a
the
week early?
5th, and then the 10th for everybody else.
Okay, so 5th for early access.
Yeah.
And they're doing the $35 premium upgrade thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the way they're gonna do all their big releases. I personally don't mind that. I know some people might not like it, but like,
As long as it comes with like DLC or season pass or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. But if you're just selling me the game early, don't do that.
yeah. And that's something that Dan Stapleton guy has a huge issue with, is that they call it the release date is the
Because
second
essentially
date.
you're just buying the deluxe edition add-ons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you're doing. You're just spending the buying the $100 version. You're just getting the deluxe edition add-ons. That's the
Right.
way I think about it.
Yeah.
You get to play the game.
He for some reason takes exception to it with Microsoft though, and doesn't call it every other company that does the exact same thing, like with the early access releases or whatever. But it's gonna be interesting to seeing what the reception of Forza. But that's hitting October 5th for early access, which I think most of us will probably be doing if you're playing Forza. Jasper, are you gonna be into Forza or that early?
It depends on what else is out. Like, I don't know if I really want to spend $35 on Forza because I'm not the biggest racing fan.
Right. You're not a
So I
diehard
may
Forza
wait.
guy. Like
Yeah.
Fuzzy's like by far the most Forza guy here. I've loved every Forza like since it came out
If-
too, but like not.
I
like
will
Fuzzy.
say, like, I will get it. Like, I need to watch more of it, but depending on how that car PG mechanic works, if it's really good, I may jump in just for that. Depending on how like
Yeah.
satisfying it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Jasper's gonna become a freaking race nut here.
I calibrated my brakes to 3 whatever. I don't fucking know how cars work, but I calibrated them.
Calibrate them. But yes, we're on the cusp now with kind of starting at Starfield, I guess, on like a huge run for Game Pass coming up in the next couple months. We also had Sea of Stars that hit right before Starfield, which was a day one game that many people are saying it's one of their favorite games this year by far. Like,
It's awesome.
yeah, I know Psycho, you love it. I tried it. I played a little bit of it. I think it's gonna be amazing. Just I didn't have time to get into it too much before
just
Starfield.
bad timing.
Yeah, horrible timing, right?
Yeah.
But there's another game.
If it was just like a week or so earlier, I think it would have gotten way more excitement and engagement from a lot of people. There's too much leading up to Starfield, like literally days away, and it was just like, and I even like messaged them a while back. I was like, if trust me, you might want to move your fucking release date maybe a little bit sooner than later.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I don't know when a good time would be, like, because there's so many
This
stuff like
year's
coming out every other
loaded.
week. Like,
Yeah. When does Mortal Kombat come out? So, I mean, October something.
This Friday,
This Friday?
this Thursday,
this Friday?
This
What?
Thursday?
yeah, Mortal
Really?
Kombat 9/14.
Are you-
Mortal Kombat.
Oh my
Yes.
god! I had no
I'm-
idea it
I'm
was
doing
so
it.
soon.
Yeah, I
Holy
got the
shit.
midnight launch or not midnight launch, but I'm working the launch of Mortal Kombat. That's why I know.
Oh my god,
Hey,
dude!
is it an early access thing? That's
No.
that date?
Nope.
I don't.
Just normal.
I didn't-
September 14th.
Was it on? Is it on their tidbits list?
No.
Someone missed it. I blame Jasper.
I didn't do tidbits this week.
It
I didn't
must
look.
be
I
my
didn't look
fault.
for like any shitty games because Fuzzy had already like 30 fucking games on the list. I was like, oh, he's probably got them all. So I didn't even look to see if there's any additional.
So yeah, September 19th. September 19th, not 14th.
It says
14th.
14th on Google.
For
It's
me,
14th, bro.
Bing says 19th.
I don't care what Bing says. Game Pass is selling them on the 14th.
It says
So-
pre-order on 19, but then if you get the premium edition, it comes out on the 14th.
Okay,
They
so,
get
it's
basic
early
So it is an
access.
early access.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's early
Well,
access.
Well, they didn't sell that. They didn't mention that. So
So how much is the premium edition?
Oops.
$100?
110.
There's 2 different premium editions you can buy. So probably
Is there
like
is there
90
one
and
that's like $79.99? Some of them have that like
In between price. Yeah.
So the standard edition comes out on the 19th, and that is, I don't know, fucking hell.
collector and premium calorie says are 914.
Yeah.
So how much is the
The
collector
premium
edition?
edition is
Premium's 110. Collector's is 250.
yeah 110 for the first premium edition that you could get early, and then the big expensive edition. Let me look that one up. The collector's edition.
$110
Yeah.
for early
And
access.
the collector's edition for early access is $250.
I guess it's really not too different than Starfield because that's like 100. It was 35. Well, it was $100, right?
So it's,
Yeah.
it's
It's
105.
$10.
Yeah, it was
a $5 difference.
Well, no, it was $100 if you bought it, right? So
No, $70 plus 35 equals 105.
no, but we didn't. It's Game Pass. We didn't pay.
Yeah,
70.
but you could also just buy the $100 version too, Psycho. Which if
Right.
you
It
didn't
was
feel like paying for Game Pass,
It's
so
100 versus 110, so it's $10 more.
Yeah.
What is it? I had the same thought at first, and I thought to myself, and I like corrected myself in my head before I spoke. But so I don't blame you. But the $110, that's the most I've seen for like an early access release, I think. Because usually they have like a $79 or $89 version or $100 at least, right? At the most for early access.
Yeah, the premium
did
edition,
Diablo do that?
the 110 version comes with 6 new playable characters, 5 cameo characters, a week early access to DLC characters, 1,200 currency, and John Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage. So that's
You get a lot of characters like for the season passes and stuff. Fuck me, man.
I wonder if you could earn those in game or if you have to buy them with money.
$110.
Because that's how they were. You had to buy them in the other Mortal Kombats.
The True
They
Serum
were
says 2K24 was $149.99, but I'm
yeah, well,
pretty
2K is
sure,
a scam anyway.
Well,
So
but I'm pretty sure they had a $100 version too.
Yeah, the 150 was the anniversary edition.
Yeah, they always have a $100
was the
one.
Black Mamba. Black Mamba was 100, and then the Kobe Bryant edition was 70.
Yeah,
I should know.
And the early. I mean, does NBA 2K do early access?
I think maybe.
I don't think they do early access either.
No, there was
Yeah.
no early access for.
Yeah, they don't think they do. Like what I'm saying is like
GameStop did. You can come in at 9 o'clock on the night before and get your game to play it early. But
right. Yeah,
that's it.
I think this might be the most expensive like early access gatekeep yet at $110 early access. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't think of another game that was $110 for early access. With that as the bottom option, right? Anyway, I'll probably just end up waiting 5 more days. Damn it! But by the time the DLC characters are out, you're gonna have like that same thing on sale for like way less.
$2.
Yeah, way less. Right? It's WB.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's gonna go. Anyway, so yeah, Mortal Kombat's coming, fucking so soon, man. But anyway, back to Game Pass. There's a game that just came out that a lot of people are praising called Gris as well. That hit Game Pass. We just had Starfield. So,
That's an old game, though, right? It's a couple years old.
I don't know. It's in Game Pass. Gris.
Gris, GRIS.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
No, that just came out. That's Annapurna out there, wasn't it? Or was that Devolver? Was Annapurna or Devolver one of them?
Does it have like a woman with like blue hair on the cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have
Yeah,
been
that came out in
on,
2018.
It could have been out
on.
on.
Just got added to Game Pass. I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lies of P is hitting on the 19th. That has a lot of people excited. Souls fans are really looking forward to that. Party Animals finally coming out on the 20th. I've been wait.
That better be good.
It's gonna be a fun party game, right? If you've played Gang Beast or like Human Fall Flat, it's gonna be kind of like those
Whoa.
games.
Gang what?
Gang
Game
Beast.
Beast.
Oh.
Gang Beast or Human Fall Flat would be kind of like those. This game has taken a long time to come out, though. I think it's kind of been a little bit of a detriment to it, because there was people looking forward to it, but now nobody's really talking about it.
Yeah. See, I don't
What,
count
Animal
the
Party?
Switch as a
Party
console
Animals?
because
Oh yeah, I mean
the
that's
Switch
kind of a
was
different
nothing.
like
Yeah,
age demographic. Like that's more like
for
the
sure.
Roblox kids.
My
play
my
that
my
shit.
daughter's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm
Kate's
an
looking
adult.
forward
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sorry.
to it. I don't really like Gang Beast too much. I don't like the whole like mechanic of moving individual arms and limbs and
Yeah.
stuff, and like, but it is what it is. Then there's Payday 3 hitting on the 21st. That Kate is also very
Wow.
excited about. That's in Game Pass the day after Party Animals, 2 days after Lies of P. So within 3 days, you get Lies of P, Party Animals, and Payday 3. That's pretty
Rumor is
nuts.
also X Defiance supposed to come out sometime late September, but we'll see.
Well, and also the interesting thing though, those are 3 day one launches from third-party companies, right?
Mhm.
From other publishers. So Lies of P, Party Animals, Payday 3, all day one on Game Pass within 2 days of each other, or 3 days, 19th, 20th, and 21. Insane. So that's on top of what we've already gotten with Starfield, and also what's coming up as well, Lamplighters League, which is something I'm looking forward to. It's a tactics game. That's coming on the 3rd of October.
Wait, isn't Cocoon
Yes,
coming to
Cocoon.
Game Pass as well?
Yep, that's coming out on the 29th of September. Cocoon. So Cocoon's actually before Lamplighters League. So that's like around a week after Payday 3 is Cocoon. Lamplighters League is the 3rd of October. Then you have Forza Motorsport hitting the 10th of October, or if you do the premium upgrade, will be probably the 5th, right? 5th. Oh, and then you got City Skylines 2 coming 12 days after that.
Yeah.
Lots of variety in the genres here, guys, too. I mean, this is what it's all about. This is what Game Pass is all about. You got Starfield just hit, which is a massive, epic RPG masterpiece. Then you have Lies of P. There's also a game called Solar Ash I didn't mention. I don't know if there's a lot of hype for that or not. I can't remember what I've seen of that game. So you have Lies of P, Party Animals, Payday 3. You can't get more different 3 games right there, right? All day one. And then you have Cocoon, which is another completely different kind of game. Then you have Lamplighters League, which is another completely different kind of game. All these games day one, right? Then you have Forza, which is another completely different kind of game, which is going to be a best-in-class type game as well.
Mhm.
Then you have City Skylines 2, which is another completely different kind of game. All day one in Game Pass. It's absolutely insane. And it doesn't end there either. You have a couple other releases. I'm not too familiar with these two. Mineko's Night Market and Headbangers Rhythm Royale. But then you go to Jasant, which is an indie game that is getting a lot of hype right now. It looks pretty cool. I think it's a climbing game, right? Where you keep going up and up. I think Indie Gamer might have had an interview with the developer of Jasant.
I think Luke Lore was supposed to have one.
Maybe it was
right?
Luke. I can't remember.
Yeah.
One of the other. I apologize to whoever had the interview or is doing the interview. I get mixed up in the community sometimes, but I know one of these awesome creators out there had the interview for Jasant. I recommend checking out both guys, Xbox Expansion Pass and Indie Gamers. So also then you got Thirsty Suitors, which is for some people. Dungeons 4, which I know you're really excited about. Psycho. That's on that's on 9th of November. And then Persona 5 Tactica hits on November 17th, which is another huge one. I'm really looking forward to that one. It's Steam World Build, another completely different kind of game happening on December 1st.
That's in Game Pass?
Yeah, dude. December 1st, 2023, Steam World Build.
I had the demo of that forever ago.
And that's where it ends, where I have dates right now. We could get some more announcements. They're supposed to have some surprises at Tokyo Game Show for 4 games coming to Game Pass, I believe, as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I can't remember exactly what they said. I think it was somewhat of that effect. to look forward to Tokyo Game Show for.
Yeah,
But-
they said 8 games or something.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
That's where you get the Armored Core Game Pass announcement.
Maybe. Yeah, man, it's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, and then also Sappho said, don't forget ABK, which should have already have closed, but because of shenanigans with the CMA, in this next month, in the midst of all these releases, at some point that thing's gonna happen, and then who knows what the timeline is of getting some of those games into Game Pass.
Let's see, when does Forza come out? On the 5th, so CMA will probably come out the day before or the day of, just to take away some of the news.
Maybe, yeah, probably. They're crazy with some of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to like think about playing anything other than Starfield right now.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like got its hooks in so many. I tried to play Madden yesterday. Turned it on for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I just want to play Starfield. Who am I kidding? But yeah, it's what a lineup, guys. Is this the best run you think since Game Pass has existed? I mean, if you add in Starfield and Forza Motorsport, and then all of those other games, like the third-party games launching day one, this is probably the best run in a 3-month period we've ever seen from Game Pass.
I mean,
Yeah.
for sure, because like usually you would get like 2 first-party games at best, and then like you would have like the occasional third-party big game that would drop like once a year, maybe twice a year if you're lucky. So like this is the best year for Game Pass, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to continue into 2024 because, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
we're probably going to get Hellblade or Avowed, but I think Hellblade 2 is going to be the one that's the next big first party. And who knows what other third party stuff comes up in between? Like, what do you call them? I think at that point, by next year, we'll probably, although I know they had a recent incident at one of their offices, we'll probably have Stalker 2.
They said it didn't
Um,
affect any delays or anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then
forgot to
hopefully
mention.
replaced.
You go ahead, Fez. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, hopefully after that, replaced would be the next one.
Yeah.
So those will probably be the next 2 big, third party, along with Hellblade 2 as first party. So it's going to continue.
I forgot to mention like the August that we had also, like you had Everspace 2 hit in there as well.
Yeah.
Age of Empires 4 hit as well on console. And then another one that we're supposed to be getting this year that I didn't mention, it wasn't on the list I was looking at, is Warhammer Darktide is actually coming to console. Which I don't know how many people are going to be excited after the horrible PC launch that they had, but I'm guessing they got it fixed now.
apparently they reworked that like entire game almost, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget, Humankind came out right as AO4 came out. So it's like another
Yeah.
real RTS that's just like, oh my god. Like I was playing a little bit of that before Starfield. I was playing a little bit of AE4. AE4 is amazing. Have you played it yet, Mav? On console?
I've dabbled on console, and it is amazing. It plays great. I just
really
been
does.
too into other games and stuff.
I actually got silver medal with some of my fast building and enemy trying to get my empire or my
Did you get above the
soldiers out.
70-point score at the end of Psycho?
I didn't finish.
He got his 6th house built, and that was 3 hours
What's
into the
funny,
game, so.
I figured this out, Jasper. When we play Age like with Psycho, I think he plays it like he would be playing if he was playing by himself against the computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you can't. You got to play it like we're trying to race and beat the.
I did, but
computer.
you guys made me dismantle my wonder, and we lost.
Well, that was the.
That was
would've
one
won.
time.
Yeah, that was the one time where your
And we didn't want a cheap win.
Well,
where your
well,
lack of army
it wins a
would've
win.
actually paid off, right? But besides that, like I kind of came to that realization, like he's not taking into account that he's actually playing with us and it's not just against the computer. It's interesting. Anyway, it's a hell of a fun time playing Age with you guys. We need to do that again soon. Freaking miss it. And I could have just lived with Age 2, honestly, with how good it is on console.
Yep, it's still the best one.
But Age 4 is amazing too. Still love it. And yeah, Game Pass. I think it's the best run we've seen so far.
Cities, Skylines, and Lamplighters 2-1. I'm looking forward to.
I wonder
Yeah,
if this is going to be kind of
City
like
Skylines.
Microsoft's going to be looking at what happens here with subscriptions over the next few months and to make more decisions about how much investments to keep pouring into it, right? Because like with the amount of content hitting and the amount of like games hitting day one and these awesome first party games coming and all this stuff, it's like it's gotta sell. It's like there's lots of Game Pass subscribers, but like I'm talking about going to another
Well, we know
level,
that they have a partnership deal with Paradox, was it 11-Bit Studios, and Sega for a lot of Game Pass deals to come day one. So, I mean, and then they have their first party.
Yeah,
so they really don't need to sign anyone else up because all those publishers and studios should have games coming out every month, you would think.
So Embracer Group might be selling off Gearbox, right? Which has come out, and Gearbox actually made a statement to their employees that said like lots of options are on the table, and apparently also one option would be them going independent. But do y'all see like one of the big players potentially snatching up Gearbox?
I wouldn't mind Xbox being in the fold as far as looking at them, but I would
If
much
Randy's
rather
in the
them get.
picture, it's not going to happen.
Oh no, yeah, I know. He's that would be one of the clauses that he would have to part ways, kind of thing, buy him out or whatever. But
I think they have a no cocaine and porn policy at Microsoft, so like no cocaine and porn in the workplace. I mean, there was the one guy that caught like watching porn on his HoloLens.
The HoloLens.
Yeah,
there's something.
No, but well, no, I'm hoping if they're because Embracer is going to probably start off or unloading a lot of their studios, or I won't say a lot, but a handful of them. I just hope they get the chance to get Eidos Montreal and Crystal.
Well, if they sell Gearbox for like $2 billion or whatever, like I think they'll be all right at that point. Because they just shut down Volition stuff. So like if they can get a quick $2 billion, they'll hold on to everyone else pretty much. So
because Gearbox is just Borderlands, right?
They got some other stuff, but pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just bought them too, like last year.
Yeah,
they've
I can see Sony try to snoop, come in here and try to grab them up.
It's the only two I think of would be Sony and maybe Take-Two.
Get them back.
Them. Yeah.
They've done some publishing of some other games too recently. Remnant 2 was Gearbox published.
Yeah. But that's because it's under the Embracer thing. Like the first Remnant was published by someone under Embracer. It's just that's who their publisher was at that time with Embracer.
I'm curious kind of how that would unfold if Gearbox, goes like gets sold to any of these IPs that they've published.
Well, that's the thing. Like Embracer already has like 6 fucking publishers. They have THQ. They have like all the other ones. So it's like they could offload a publisher and be fine.
Yeah,
it's just it depends on if Borderlands goes along with Gearbox.
Right.
Because if they can keep Borderlands, that's good for them. But if they just sell Gearbox Publishing, then that would.
So they've also published Homeworld 3, Tribes of Midgard, Godfall was their game that they actually made.
That was a fantastic game.
There was something called Eyes in the Dark: The Curious Case of One Victoria Bloom.
That's a good game on like the Steam Deck and stuff.
Yeah. A game called Blanc, and a game called Relic Hunter's Legend. From them, it was published. Actually, that's coming out on the 25th of September. It's from a developer named Rogue Snail. I have no idea what kind of game it is, but that's the game that they're publishing. So they do have a little bit of variety with the publishing arm, And I'm sure they would continue that even if they went independent because they would still want to keep publishing games. Oh yeah, Subnautica. They published that, and they published other games too in the past, like in different regions. I remember, like, and things like that. So, but pretty much development wise, they're Borderlands. They made that Battleborn game that I really liked.
Yeah,
but it failed.
right when Overwatch came out.
Yeah, it failed miserably, right? But whoever gets them is getting a massive franchise with Borderlands because every single one they make is successful. They have spin-off games for it, and
they also have a Borderlands collection coming out pretty soon. It has all the Borderlands in it for the next gen consoles or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And Borderlands is one of those franchises they like find ways to resell, like several times, right? So we'll see. I don't know if they're gonna go independent, or if they're gonna get sold to somebody. I'm kind of thinking maybe it would be good if like they went to another big publisher, but I don't know who would be a good fit.
That's why I said Take-Two or Sony, but
Take-Two would make the most sense because Take-Two was behind the Borderlands games, right?
And it would also give Take-Two variety besides fucking GTA every 6 years and NBA.
Right. What about EA?
It could work, but EA likes to put their hands in a lot of places it shouldn't be. And
You think they would ruin Gearbox?
They probably would until Vince Impella would be tasked to save it, and I think at that point,
and then him and Randy Pitchford would be fucking at words with each other, and it just wouldn't be great.
Take your coke out of here.
How about this? Randy Pitchford leaves Gearbox. He buys shares out, whatever.
That's a good idea in chat. Luis Jose said Epic. That would fit pretty good. I feel like
Epic.
Yeah.
So Randy Pitchford leaves, right? Gearbox goes to Microsoft. ABK then becomes part of Microsoft as well. And then Bobby Kotick and Randy Pitchford start a new studio together.
Is it a strip club?
called Cocaine
Personal
Studios. They'll call it Man Cave. Man Cave Studios.
Cosby Room.
Oh my god.
Cosby Room Games.
Yeah, they'll just like have anything fucking goes over here in our
studio. From O.J. Simpson.
Studio tours come with a free cocaine packet and whores.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't think maybe that's not such a good idea after all.
I mean, it would be shut down in about a week for fucking illegal problems.
How many guys would apply instantly? Just like, oh my god, I gotta go there because I know that's gonna be a fucking crazy place, right? It's gonna be like what's it, Wolf of Wall Street in there. Anyway. Yeah, let's not let that happen. That'd be bad. That'd be bad. All right, so moving on. Hey, let's get into some tidbits because we got a lot of games to get to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's gonna take a minute to set up.
Yeah. I should have given you some fair warning. Yeah, everybody. We do have this segment on FSP called Tidbits, where we look ahead at this week's list of games, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. You know what I mean. And here we go. We are going to watch Tidbits as soon as Jasper gets this together. And
you want me to tell me when to hit play because I can keep adding them?
Okay, we're good to go.
Okay.
What do we got up first, guys?
A mysterious infection continues.
It looks like. Oh, wait, that's the wrong screen. Sorry. Crap. Hold on one sec.
I just need to. I've lost Twitter. Okay, here it is. I got it. It's Eternites, whatever.
Eternite. Yeah.
I was like, I
Eternites.
don't know how to fucking say that, so I'm gonna let someone else.
Eternites, PS4, PS5, and PC for $30. Launches on the 12th, so probably tonight.
I like hanging out with you. Hang on. We need to stop it. I knew I shouldn't have done this.
Oh, a lot of horror games coming out this week. That's cool.
Next up, we got Nower, Play with Your Food. PS4, PS5, PC, and Mac.
What the fuck am I watching?
Basically,
Food on.
it's like destructible food.
Playing with your food. Playing with your food. Playing with your food.
Plate it up, put it in the microwave, play with your food.
Playing with your food. Yeah, yeah.
Gonna turn on the oven, gonna cook some noodles.
Yeah, yeah. Make some sushi. Oh, playing with your food. Playing with your food. Pancakes and hash browns are playing with your food.
Making
Spaghetti.
sculptures with your food on the table.
Spaghetti define the laws of gravity.
It's like
Playing with
Matrix
your
time with your food.
Can I find this song on Spotify? Playing with your food. Playing with your food. It reminds me of like a song that would be like on some like Disney Junior show or like teaching kids about food. Like they
Drop 'em. Dodge 'em.
Super Bomberman R2 PS4.
Introducing the
It
newest
comes out of
D2?
everything.
Bomberman series,
$50.
Super Bomberman R2.
D2?
R2.
Bomberman
R2.
is back with more battle modes than
Oh my
ever.
god, okay. Star Wars Joe.
Standard. Enjoy
Yeah,
the
it releases on
classic and
everything for
explosive
$50.
battle mode.
I used to love Bomberman.
Grand Prix. Compete for crystals and KOs. Team battles are a blast.
I played a lot on GameCube.
Battle 64. Be the last man standing in this battle royale. 64 players with only one winner.
Everything's Battle Royale
The
now.
long-awaited new
Pretty much.
battle mode.
This is a
Castle.
battle mode.
Oh, they're trying to like make it
Attack
like a
or defend
brawler.
Your castle. The attack side
I think it's
blasts
just
their way
Bomberman.
through the stage to find keys and open treasure chests. Find all the chests, you win.
Oh, okay.
The castle side
Yeah, no,
must
see,
defend
they're
their
launching them off the
treasure
screen.
chests At all costs.
Well, that's how Bomberman
Even
works when you
just
run out of
one
lives, whatever, you
chest
get blown
remains
off, right?
safe.
Oh, okay. I don't
Victory.
remember.
You can even create your own original stages and share them online. Create an impenetrable stage by making
Yeah, this
full
is
use
on
of
the
various
12th.
gimmicks. In story mode, discover a whole new single-player adventure.
I might actually get this and try and get my daughter to
Explore
play it
new
with me.
planets. Build up and reinforce your base.
I always thought Bomberman was so
Defend your
fucking
base
boring.
and wage
Did you?
attacks in the enemy
Yeah.
We used to have
territory.
so much fun battles. Me and my buddies playing like 4 players.
And immerse yourself in the new story mode. Super Bomberman R2 has more content than ever.
Than ever?
Explode, scream, it's a bomb party. Super Bomberman R2.
All right. Gunbrella. Uh-oh.
Video skipping video currently unavailable.
Yeah, okay. So there was a game
Must
called
be
Gun-
like age
Yeah.
restricted or something.
There was a game called
Gunbrella.
Gunbrella for $15. It's coming out on Switch and PC. I don't know anything about it, but that's what it was. You're not all you guys are not old enough to see it. It must be risque. This is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the hidden treasure of Area Zero. The teal mask. That's a long fucking name, bro.
I think it's just a DLC to Scarlet and Violet, though.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like
It
part
is.
1.
It's $35.
Yeah.
I think that's where if you do the complete game with the DLC, they didn't have an individual price listed at the time.
Got it. And that's on Switch only, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at these awesome graphics.
I mean, it actually does look pretty good for a Pokemon game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fantastic.
I know that's what you're saying.
Question is, do you
I
buy it
choose
now
you,
or do you buy
Candy
it?
Apple.
Or do you
I got
buy
Violet
it after the
already.
Switch
I'm
2?
I just haven't been able to get into a Pokemon game in a long time. I keep trying, and last one I was really into was Pokemon X and Y. I put over like 400 hours in Y, and it killed me on Pokemon. Can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to skip through this one, it's like a 4-minute trailer.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's skip
Next
this.
game. Yep. Next game I'm actually excited for. I may pick it up.
Ad Infinitum.
Yep.
PS5, Series X and S, and PC. For $36.
Looks like a World War II horror kind of.
Yeah, it's a World War I horror game where you like go through the trenches and there's like some kind of monster or something.
Something is interfering with production.
Jump scare.
So this is a good game for Steel.
Yeah, this is the kind of horror shit I was hoping he would play. It's like first person spooky shit, but he played Evil Within.
It's Nacon. We'll see if they can publish a good game. AK Zolotl or Yodel or whatever. I don't know how to say that word.
I'm not even going to try it. It's on PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC for $18.99. Coming out Thursday.
Oh, it's like
Metal Slug.
Binding of Isaac. Looks like kind of. Axolotl?
Axolotl. Axolotl.
Squirtle.
Axolotl.
Playing with your food.
All right, next up is Deceit 2 for PC.
PC only. Yeah.
$60.
If you are reading this, then I am sorry. You are a prisoner to a man who calls himself the Game Master.
This is kind of like a first-person Dead by Daylight-ish kind of game. One person plays as a monster, and the other people are like running through different structures and buildings trying to escape him, I think.
You greater fortune than it offered me.
Aha, it's a
Firstly,
track.
You must trust no one.
It's like
Nothing
Saw,
around
the
you
game.
is what it seems. Your companions are not themselves, and neither are you.
Yeah,
This
you're saying?
But I think the thing with this is like
Amongst your party,
one of the survivors is like a monster and like he can transform at certain periods of times, and you're trying to like you got to be on the lookout, like, because you don't know which one of you is the monster, so it's like the monster's trying to get you alone. It's like Among Us, maybe, is a better example.
Okay.
Destroy them all. Hidden in plain sight, the infected work secretly to shatter altars that protect our reality from a dimension of evil beyond. The Game Master calls this place the In-Between. It is a realm of madness and misery. Home to the benefactors he
This is
serves.
another one that's like 4
When
minutes.
you
Yeah.
believe you know who
Yeah,
amongst
I
your
think we get the
group
point.
is infected,
Okay.
you must
I mean, it's interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Dune Spice Wars for PC, $30.
It's officially out. Yeah. It's in Game Pass right now.
Dukes headed into its jaws. On Caladan, we ruled with air and sea power.
This is Game Pass?
We must
Yeah, the early access has been in Game Pass for a while. This is its full launch.
This is your inheritance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did play this.
Thus, there will always be a desert on Arrakis.
It was weird.
What is to
Yeah, it's a
become
4X strategy.
Everything happens to me.
Tries to cover
Your enemy was overwhelming,
You'll not be a relic.
yet you ruled with him.
We Fremen have a saying. God created Arrakis to train the faithful.
To hold Arrakis, you're faced with Arrakis.
Is our enemy.
This is a RTS.
This is my
Yeah, it's like it's more like a Civilization kind of
Right.
RTS.
This is my doom.
Yeah, I want them to make like old school, like Command and Conquer style.
Yeah.
All right, Monster Hunter Now, mobile.
Pokemon Go, but Monster Hunters, I think.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope we don't have another trend going off on those kind of games, like the mindless zombies walking around downtown. They're afraid you're gonna
In
run
front of
them over.
traffic.
They're just looking at their
Psycho-
phones, walking in the public streets, like without realizing it.
Psycho just shared his Pokemon Go friend code the other day, so he got into it. I guess he
Yes.
didn't want to comment on that.
No pricing listed, so assume like $9.99 or something like that. Probably.
I would assume it's free to play because Pokemon Go is
Uh-huh.
that you pay to like get more balls and shit.
This
I don't
one's
pay.
Game Pass Day 1, Solar Ash, $40.
Solar Ass.
Your every move
Yep.
intensifies my pain. Your blind ambition, all your good intentions.
Kind of looks like,
Everything you touch turns to ash.
Journey.
yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever play Journey?
Nope.
Very little of it.
What do you do besides just run on sand forwards?
It's one of
There's
those artsy
certain
games.
areas where there's people you can talk to and things like
Right.
that.
I remember it won like Game of the Year that year, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't save anyone. Not even yourself.
Annapurna has always been solid with a lot of their indie games that they publish.
Yeah, for sure. That's Solar Ash. Again, that's Game Pass Day 1. Crew Motorfest. Do I need to mute this?
Yeah, yeah.
Crew Motorfest releases on everything for $70, or you could get Ubisoft Plus if you want to do that also. And if If you've played Forza Horizon, you know what to expect.
Has anyone played this from like a beta yet here?
I played the beta. And the
Is it literally
opening,
just Forza Horizon?
the same opening sequence, like down to a T, bro. You like takes you the different
How
kinds
does
of
the
cars and the different.
Did
like,
you ever get to a city? Like, or the cities actually feel more like a city, or does it feel like
No,
a village?
There's a festival that you go to.
Because I saw like in the trailer it had that like where the city switched to like neon or whatever. I wasn't sure if the city felt more like kind of a Need for Speed like size, or if it was more
Yeah,
like Forza, where it was just like the cities feel like a village.
it's I didn't get to the city. I mean, I raced in the city in the track racing, but like I just did the opening sequence and then kind of drove around for a little bit. So like in the opening sequence, it took me into the city to do one of the like this is street racing, you know what I mean? Kind of like doing Forza Horizon. They take you to each kind of race, right? Like really quickly and like a set piece. They did the exact same thing, and then you go to the festival, which is like Motorfest instead of Horizon. And then you go and you talk to a person just like you do in Horizon, and they send you on your way to the festival and your races and stuff. So I didn't explore too much of the map. It looks good. The game like controls fun. Like I don't think it's gonna be bad. I think it's actually gonna be a solid racer. It just is crazy how much of a knockoff it was. But I'm gonna assume it's probably gonna get in the 80s in reviews at least. And it's a fun game. If you like racers and you are kind of burnt out on Forza Horizon, you can get this. At least it'll be a different take on it, a little slightly, right?
Yeah.
This is Thunder Ray releasing on everything for $15. This is definitely a punch out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if Mike Tyson's Punch Out took acid and updated it for 2023 or something.
This could be really fun. Punch Out was awesome.
Yeah.
It's only $15 too, so that might be like a Switch game. That'd be a good one to play on the Switch. This next one's called Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. $50 coming out on the Switch. Baten? Is it Baten or Baten?
Baten.
Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster for Switch.
それぞれ違う世界に住む2つの命の精神が出会い結ばれること
Buy it now or buy it when Switch 2 comes out.
I'll wait for the next remaster in like 20 years and decide then.
精霊付きとなった人間との結びつきの強さに左右されるんだ。結びつきってのはまあ信頼関係みたいなもんだな。だからもしそれがなくなったら
GameCube games, Gallery said. Okay. I didn't play these on the GameCube.
It's all about Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. Fucking rented Mario Kart Double Dash like 7 times from fucking Blockbuster.
At that point,
I never bought it. I just fucking rented it.
Card-based combat JRPG, right on. There was a card-based 360 RPG that that was like more of like a it was more like board game style. It was called Concept Saga. It was really good. I like that game. Anyway, well, that's it for tidbits. That pretty good, damn good week, honestly. Thunder Ray looked really good.
Yeah.
Solar Ash looked cool. Dune Spice Wars is hitting. Psycho's gonna get lost in traffic playing Monster Hunter now. Don't get hit by any cars, bro.
Go rent a bird scooter and drive it down the highway.
You had Gunbrella, which is obviously too mature for any of us to watch the trailer. Super Bomberman R2, Eternights, and then go play with your food, or whatever that game was. That's a pretty cool one. Motorfest is the biggest game on this list.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think it's going to do pretty well for them, because if you like those kind of racers, they don't come around as often on PlayStation. So you got Need for Speed Unbound and now this, but they didn't have the Forza games over there. So I think this will probably be that answer for PlayStation gamers. And it's not a bad, from what I played of it, honestly, it's not a bad game. It is, the racing is more arcadey than Horizon. Horizon's already arcadey. This is even more arcadey, right? There are bikes in this, and there's like four-wheelers and stuff like that too. So it adds another little bit of an element there. There's like already loop-de-loops and shit like that in it. Also, you don't need like the Hot Wheels DLC and stuff. But besides that, like the format, they've changed this format of this game to be like a Horizon clone style. But you know what? Maybe it's for the best for the game. Maybe it'll do really well. If I do get Ubisoft Plus at some point later this year for Mirage, this is maybe something I'll go back and play some. But anyway, hope you enjoy it. If you are looking forward to it, it is $70. And finally, Ubisoft puts out a game, big one. So big one for them anyway. Last one they released that was a big game was Riders Republic, right?
Was there something at the beginning of the year? I feel like there was something early on.
Civilization type game or something.
They had Anno 1800.
Yeah.
That came out for console.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Obviously, it wasn't too important.
X Defiant, they were trying to get it out, but like it failed certification.
Did it?
Yeah.
What?
When did you see that?
They made a post to Jez,
today?
Jez shared it. They made a post from the head developer, Mark.
Yeah, because I know he's been tweeting out a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that.
So they're in the process still of getting it certified and stuff for release, and it's probably maybe mid-October. I don't know. He said as soon as it's possible,
Heartland.
as soon as it's possible, it's going to be out. But they failed certification on PlayStation and Xbox, so they had to make a bunch of changes and stuff for compliance.
Interesting.
And they were very transparent about it, so like it's interesting. Maybe other games do this too, and we just don't know.
He's been pretty transparent about it. He tells everything. He's like, back in like late July, he was like, "We've entered certification process. Like this takes a while, so just be patient with us or whatever." So like, they've been pretty open with like every step they're doing.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I've never seen like a developer like we failed certification or whatever. I'm not saying this like doesn't happen all the time. It could happen with every game for all we know. You know what I mean? But it's just weird, interesting to see that. But anyway, let's get everybody out here. Thank you all for tuning in to FSP. We'll be back also tomorrow for Fun Pop at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. PM in the PM will be on Thursday at 7 p.m.
Ahsoka is so fucking good. Watch it.
Yeah, we'll have we'll have some fun
5th episode.
We'll have some fun conversations about Ahsoka tomorrow night for sure. And then let's see what else we got. Thursdays PM in the PM at 7 p.m. Eastern. Fridays Xbox Ultimate at 10 p.m. We'll have a full slate this week, everybody. So tune in. All right, Psycho, tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Thank you for coming out tonight, everybody in chat. Just want to say, if you guys are still rocking your avatar, they have been releasing gear for your avatar. They just added the Starfield hoodie and t-shirt, so they have a Starfield hoodie and
People still
t-shirt.
check that?
Yeah, and they have a well, when you go to Starfield in the Microsoft Store or Game Pass, it shows like watch the live action trailer, the anime, you can your theme, and then it said Avatar. So it's like, oh, did they do? And I clicked on it, and sure shit, they added, like I said, the Starfield, and then they have just the logo that is the stars with the blue, red, orange, yellow coloring symbol that they normally have.
Oh my god, this
so-
is outro. He's selling Starfield Avatar
So,
clothes on
hey,
Xbox.
People are excited about Starfield, so if you're rocking Avatar shit, go get it. That's all I'm saying, motherfucker. God. Anyways, you can find me everywhere. Psychonauts say it. You can find me here every Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, 10 o'clock on FSP on Monday, Fun Pop on Tuesday, and Xbox Ultimate on Friday. Great time to be alive.
Yeah. I ain't buying that fucking Starfield Avatar shit because
No, it's free. It's free.
It's free. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
it's free.
I'll download it and then never
That's what
use
I
it.
did.
Like they fucking use, they don't use the avatars for anything anymore. It's like
It was only good for those shitty like indie games that they would put out for free that you would
Yeah.
like mess around with your friends in for like 5 hours. Be like,
Yeah.
okay, we're playing that again.
Anyway, Jasper, where can everybody find you, bro?
Yo, check it out. If you want a ship built, come over to my YouTube page. I'm building ships. Recommend one. I got a backlog already, so I'll get
Why are
around
you
to it
building
eventually.
shits?
Because that's what I do.
You building
Um,
shits?
Yep.
Shits?
And then I got the A-Wing build coming out tonight, so check that out. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 10 o'clock right here on the Fun Speculation Network with FSP, Fun Pop, and Xbox Ultimate. So that's what I do. Check it out. Yeah.
Are you gonna build the West Wing?
The Westwood? What?
Yeah, I'm going to build a section of the fucking White House.
That's right. All right, Fuzzy. What about you, bro?
Just thanks for having me on. It was awesome being on here with you guys, especially after missing Friday and everything in last week. But for those that want to hear my rambles and rants, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. And then hopefully see everybody in the chat on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Xbox Ultimate. Look forward to seeing you guys there right here on this channel.
Right on, bro. Have a fantastic night, everybody. Take it easy. Peace out.
Go buy your Avatar clothes.
Later.